Winchester Cathedral, you're bringing me down. You stood and you watched as my baby left home.
I'm John Miller. I'm Artistic Director of the Winchester Festival and have been since we started in 1998. We set up the festival because there hadn't been one. It was the only, when I was at Television South, noticed that Winchester was the only cathedral city in the whole region that didn't have its own multi-arts festival. So when I went freelance and I joined a group called Music at Winchester to promote music in the cathedral particularly and elsewhere, and eventually somebody said we ought to do an arts festival, and since I'd worked at the Chichester festivities and on the board of the Arundel Festival and had guested at Brighton and Salisbury and other places, they asked me to be artistic director. The programming I try to do is to go for the best in all the spheres, music, literature, drama and the visual arts, and go for the best writers and actors and musicians that we can get. Obviously financial considerations are part of that. One can't afford thousands on particular stars, but we usually negotiate something fairly good, and we've had people like Peter Ustinov and Judi Dench and Michael Pennington, Michael Frayn, John Snow, all sorts of people like that who are leaders in their own particular spheres.
Winchester Cathedral, you're bringing me down.
My name's Rosemary Miller. I'm a member of the Borderlands Artists Consortium Exhibition Committee, who are responsible for this recent works exhibition here at Winchester. The Borderlands Artists Consortium is a group of professional artists who live on the Surrey, Hampshire and West Sussex borders. It's extremely important for local artists to have a community group, basically for support. As an artist, you work quite often very much on your own. It's important to have the opportunity to exhibit your work and to get feedback from other artists around. Right, this painting here is called After the Crowds. It's done from a beach down on the south coast, basically after everybody had gone, and it evokes to me an awful lot of my childhood. I like to home in, I love complicated shapes and patterns, which is why I enjoyed doing the deck chairs.
Hello, I'm Maureen Bamford Hamlin and I'm one of the exhibiting artists here. My art is always inspired by the surroundings that I live in. These are echinaceas out of my garden. The other four paintings are inspired by the Alice Holt Woods, where I often go and walk. And also dreams. I bring dreams into it a lot. I like my pictures to be layered, so there's a kind of language about them. So there's a depth.
Hello, my name is Barbara Ling and I own the Candover Gallery in Oxford. But the reason for the exhibition is that Peter Layton is celebrating 30 years of having his workshop in London. Peter is one of our country's leading glassblowers, and a lot of his work is on show in the contemporary collection at the Victoria and Albert Museum. A lot of his ideas, he tells me, is from his travels, from travelling in the Barrier Reef or when he went to Wadi Rum and Petra, and he produced glass of similar colours. Well, I don't necessarily have a favourite piece, but I think this is very beautiful. The colours are just perfect, and he calls it the reef, which I think is from the Barrier Reef, possibly when he was swimming there.
One of the highlights of the festival so far has been Chris Patton, who came and talked about his book on Monday, Not Quite the Diplomat. And that was sold out. We had 600 people jammed into the Guild Hall, and he was on particularly good form. But I was also pleased that Claire Bloom, who came and she did part of her recital on Shakespeare's Women at the Theatre Royal on Sunday, and then talked to me about her career. And we had a pretty full house for that. And I know we kicked off at 7:30, which was only half an hour before the World Cup final kicked off. But I was most agreeably surprised that we virtually filled the theatre for something when most of the population was glued in front of their television set.